couple of little hills. We've got a small one here, small rocky hill face, which is very, to me that just gives me that extra little bit of push in the lower gears. Just oh wow, that's a lot of cows. Hello, welcome to our brand new channel where we're going to talk all the stuff about a venture bike. This is an honest review of what we like and don't like about the Honda CRF300 Rally. We use these bikes for our tours and we own 7 of them, and we think they're great bikes. Yeah. We go up the warm-up hill. So we're going to ride the Rally on very technical terrain today. There we go. Very loose and rocky this hill. Really showing what the bike is capable of. Oh. And we'll get into some single trail here. So we're going to be doing lots of adventure bike videos. We're going to be doing tours, training videos, videos of our training lessons that we do with customers. Just everything adventure bike related really. There we go. But today we'll talk about what we like about the CRF Rally 300. So we are running 50-50 tyres on these. We're actually running the stock tyres on these, but I find them very good and capable. As long as you're not in wet mud, they work absolutely perfect. It is very hot today. It's got to be over 33 degrees, and it probably feels about 36 in these enclosed in these trees. Reddy loves all this technical stuff. The 2025 has got some uprated suspension. On the front it's definitely a lot better. I still have it stock. On the rear I put an Öhlins rear shock. It just changes that geometry, stops it from wallowing, and just feels really nice. Very rocky. Lots of bits of sand that just come out of nowhere on this ride. Always trying to catch you out. But the Rally is a light adventure bike. But really, to me, it's a trail bike with a bigger tank and a screen, which makes it the perfect adventure bike really if you're looking to do technical terrain. Because it's very capable. Straight out of the showroom they're capable. If you're above 80 kilograms, maybe the suspension is a little bit too soft. I'm quite lucky, I'm 62 kilos. Suspension's quite good, out of the box for most bikes for me. It's such a fun little bike to ride. Oh wow, I love it. So much fun. It's so easy, nimble, light to chuck around. Oh, almost lost the front there. Doesn't wear me out at all, this bike. Whoa, that 21 amp trip wheel eats the rocks up. You can treat the Rally just like an enduro bike. Does everything an enduro bike does. This Rally can do too. One thing you've always got to remember to do with this 2025 model is turn that ABS off, because when you're in this kind of terrain, ABS is not your friend. I can't actually turn it off on the front, so going through all these bits here, and when we hit the sand, every time I get on the front brake, I can feel it pulsating. So maybe I need to remove the fuse for this to stop this. But the rear, you can turn off. This is very tight singles, and lots of big rocks everywhere. Just got to navigate that front wheel through. If you're looking for a bike that you can go ride some single trails like this, but you'll still want that adventure style. So say you want to ride to the trails, or you want to go on some weekend camping trips with your mates, and this is a great bike. In technical trails like this, you do not need any more power than this. These are torquey little bikes. The problem is when you start to get more power on like an adventure bike, you start to add more weight. And as you start to get more weight on the bike, you're going to struggle to ride trails like this. But this bike can do it all. It can do nice easy trails like this, just lovely. Or it can do the real tight technical trails. It's got a 12.8 litre fuel tank, so you can get the long journeys and the long adventures. We run a tour company. We have 2 day trip rides. One's 150 kilometres, the other one is 220 kilometres, and we've always got half a tank of fuel left. And on the 220 kilometre ride, 80% of that is off-road. So they're very good on fuel. It loves its technical stuff though. Even the fast stuff is good on that. The only time you're going to lack with the power is them times you're on the freeway. You're loaded up. You want to overtake a car. Yeah, you're going to be wringing its neck. But really, we're not buying these bikes to sit on the freeway. We're buying these bikes to go ride them on adventures. When it comes to the weight of this bike, I see a lot of people online talking about it's a heavy bike. If you're comparing it to an enduro bike, it is a heavy bike. But if you can compare it to an adventure bike, it's very light. Do you really need 80 horsepower when you're off-road to have fun? I don't think so. Small bikes, when you master them, I think are more fun. And the one thing that's so good about this bike, this is a downhill section, you don't want to go over the handlebars on this. The one good thing about this bike is it's so reliable that wherever you ride it, you know you're riding the bike out. And also, when oh, that's very sandy there, I'm skidding all over the place. if you ride this bike on your own into places like this, and you get stuck, deep sand, deep mud, drop the bike, any kind of situation, you know you can pick these bikes up, you know you can get them out of a bog, all on your own. That gives you a level of confidence that a big 250 kilo bike can't give you. Alright, into a nice open area now. Let's go down here. Little mini canyon. Scraping those crash bars. This is where the Olean shock makes my bike a lot taller. It gives me a lot more ground clearance. It really pays off in them situations. Okay, this is a good section. This is a good section just to try out a few obstacles on the rally. We've got a couple of little hills. We've got a small one here, small rocky hill face, which is very... Oh! Smashed the camera into my helmet. And now we've got a bigger one over here, which we'll give that a try. These bikes do have a lot of torque for a little 300 single. So they get up these perfectly fine with a bit of clutch work. Easily done. 45-degree downhill section. Lovely. I actually take my students around this little part on our adventure bike training. So this is, some people, this is their first little test of adventure riding. It's good to take them into some proper terrain before they go and hit it on their own. Some people would really class this as enduro riding more than an adventure bike. And yeah, I'd say it is more enduro. But then that's what I like about these bikes, is that you can ride it on enduro style tracks. It's a little super enduro track that's been built by some local Thais. Right, we'll get into some sandy trails here. Step up. The styling of this bike I absolutely love as well. It really looks like a Dakar rally bike. I see a lot of people online, they don't like the styling. I really like it. It feels like a little race bike. Feels like I'm in the Dakar, you know, especially in all this sand that I'm riding right now. This is where the 50/50 tyres can struggle a little bit, and I haven't turned my ABS off again after restarting my bike. That's the other problem, my rear brake is not working. I think I would just take out the fuse because I don't really need the ABS. I've never had it on any other bikes. I'm a fan of no rider aids. Traction control, all this kind of stuff on an adventure bike, I don't get it. I like the raw feeling of riding. I'm controlling that rear wheel off that clutch, controlling all the brakes. To tell you the truth though, even with the ABS fully on, it's still working pretty damn good, the brakes. You've got to give it to Honda for that. They know what they're doing. The tyres are doing well. What I do sometimes ride a bike through here that has 50-50, I mean full off-road tyres, and you do feel the difference. But in the dry season, there's nothing wrong with 50-50 tyres. So on this bike, I run 23 PSI in the front tyre, and I run about 18 in the rear. And I find that perfect for me to be able to ride on the road and to also be able to ride technical terrain. I never adjust my tyre pressures. I just leave them at that all the time. It works very well. What a great little loop though this is. It's a great test as well for this bike. The brakes are working great with the ABS on, but I would still definitely rather have it off. The front is not bad. You feel a bit of pulsing, but it doesn't affect my braking. So really, it's probably doing a very good job. For the rear, that is actually stopping me. That's actually letting go of my rear brake, and it's actually stopping me from using it at all. Especially in the sand. Right. We'll come back up to this rocky area, and we'll do a bike check. I'll talk about what I've done to this bike. So we'll just talk about what I've done to my own personal bike and the reasons why I've done it. But I'll start off with the suspension. I've done a Öhlins rear shock on this bike. For me, the rear shock needed to be changed. It was a very soft, it just had no rebound damping, which was the problem I had. So when I would hit some rocky terrain, it would just bounce all over the place. And I didn't really like that on the stock shock. I've put the Öhlins in and it's become a lot more higher. As you can see, it's very up high on the back end. But that's worked really well with the geometry. It seems to just put that bike exactly where it should have been from the showroom. It's got very good damping now, but it's also still very soft. But that's really good, because a soft bike is good when you've got good damping, but it's not very good when you don't have the damping. The front suspension, I've done nothing with it. The 2025 bike has more damping in the suspension over the old ones, and we have 7 of the old ones, and there is a difference. If you're an 80 kilo rider, it probably isn't going to make much difference to you. You're probably still going to have to upgrade it. But me being a 62 kilogram rider, it is fine for me. And it works perfect, and I never bottom out. I never need to change it. It just works awesome. Apart from the rear shock, I've also gone 3 tooth bigger on the rear sprocket. For me, that just gives me that extra little bit of push in the lower gears, just for when I need to ride these technical terrains. Before, I found the gears were a little bit too long, and it just didn't have that kick that I needed when I let the clutch out. So that was three teeth made it just absolutely perfect, and it still sits on the highway. I can still sit 110 kilometers very comfortably without burning too much fuel. Protection wise, I've got just some cheap hand guards. I look at these as a consumable. We replace these quite often. The bikes go down often. We ride technical terrain. We ride our bikes properly. They do get dropped, which is why I've also added crash bars. These are worth every bit of money that you can put on your bike. We have our tour bikes and we put them on every single bike. The bikes go down weekly, almost daily sometimes. These really save it. If you got the hand wraps and you've got the crash bars, your bike's pretty much well protected. You're not going to really damage them fairings unless it falls on a rock or something, because before our bikes were getting damaged very easily. We put them on, we're getting no more damage anymore. Stock tyres, I'm still using the stock IRCs. I find them good. There's nothing wrong with them. They work well if you're in these dry conditions like the rock. There's no complaints with them. They just don't really work in mud, but that is like any 50-50 tyre. You can buy the best 50-50 tyre and it's not going to work in mud. So we just got to have that compromise really. They're great on the road. They're not noisy. They're not the best in wet conditions, but then again, no 50-50 tyre is. I run a Apple CarPlay screen up here. It's the Chiggy, I think it's the Chiggy 6. It works very well. All it does is broadcast my phone. Just lets me follow my GPX files, Google Maps, anything like that I need to follow. So when you're adventure riding, it's critical to have your mapping system, because half the time we don't know where we're going, and that is what makes an adventure. So that is what we like about adventure riding, is not know where we're going and discovering new places. But at least with this, we can track where we're going and we can get ourselves out. I do just run some Rhino walk bags. I think they're Amazon bags. They work very well. All I use for these for is tools. I use tubes, pumps, tools, anything to get the bike going again. If we get a flat tire, drop the bike and damage something, I've got a couple of spare levers in there. It's a first aid kit, just the stuff that is essential every single ride. If I'm taking any other, like if I'm going on a long trip and I want to take luggage or anything like that, then I will add a box onto the rear rack here. Otherwise I'll carry it on my back. I like to keep my bike as light as possible. As soon as you start to put weight onto your bike, it starts to change the characteristics of the bike. And we want to ride proper off-road. We don't want to be sitting on the highways. Like, we're proper adventure bike riding on this channel. I have put bar risers on the bike. I stand up a lot. I never sit down on a bike unless I am on the freeway or on the road. If I'm off-road, I'm always standing up. That gives you a bad back. I'm only 5'9". I've put 22mm risers on this, and that seems to be perfect for me. If you're taller, you can get sort of 40mm ones, but that to me is an essential bit of kit for an adventure bike. Every adventure bike comes pretty much with the bars too low for standing up riding. They're built for sitting on the bike, but we want to stand on the bikes, so we always put these on. Another thing I've upgraded is the foot pegs. These are just cheap $10 ones of like Amazon. They're just wider. That is the main thing I needed. I wasn't really concerned about grip or anything like that. It was more because I stand up so much. Where I was doing sort of 150 to 220 kilometers a day, my feet were just hurting because the stock ones are so narrow. These are probably about 50% wider, and my feet never hurt anymore with these. That was one of the best upgrades, and that was one of the first things I had to do after getting really sore feet. That's pretty much it with these bikes. We don't really do any engine modifications. We keep the exhaust standard because we go through little Thai villages. We don't want to upset the locals. If there's anything else you want to know about our bike or just the rallies in general, leave a comment in the comment section and we'll reply to you. All right, let's ride out of this place. All right, let's go up here. Oi. That's one problem with making your bike a bit taller. You sometimes don't have anywhere to put your feet. Some people would be saying, just get an enduro bike. But an enduro bike doesn't allow me to ride on the road. And it doesn't give you that reliability that you're going to get out of one of these Hondas. Change a piston every 100 hours. Or change the oil every 4,000 kilometres. I know which one I would prefer. I think on this bike I've done about 800 hours in about 5 months. I mean, if I had a KTM, it'd have had multiple rebuilds by now. It is tiring, I can tell you that. It's not the bike that's making me tired, it's the heat. It's bloody relentless here. I'm in Hua Hin in Thailand. And we're coming into the real hot period now. I'm looking forward to when the rain comes back. For me, that's when my riding season starts. Some nice non-dusty trails. The sand goes hard, but the mud gets soft. This bike does tick all of the boxes for me for any kind of dirt bike. For me, to have a dirt bike or adventure bike, you need that 21-inch front wheel. That's the most important. Long suspension travel, tube tyres. Because look at all these rocks. If you cut your tyre and you've got spare tubes, you know you can get your bike back out again. Or if you dent your rim, it doesn't affect it with tubes. Oh wow, that's a lot of cows. That's a lot of cows. I like their little bells they got on them. But they're very well behaved. They're all just walking in a line. Oh yeah. So thank you for joining us on this ride. This is our first video and we're going to be doing lots of varied content. We're going to try and do all different types of adventure bike training, recording our coaching sessions, our tours, our personal rides. Even we'll do some stuff on the inside of the business as well, like even the bike maintenance that we do. Just everything adventure bike related really. If you're a customer of ours, maybe you're interested in seeing our rides and our new rides, all that kind of stuff. If you're just an adventure bike rider, maybe you'll get some value out of just tips. If you're riding a CRF300 Rally or a CRF300L, then you might get a lot of value out of this channel because this is the bikes we use and all our videos will be sort of surrounded around these bikes, but in general it's going to be adventure bikes in general.
rally just like an enduro bike. So they're everything